I do. Make you want to go to Milwaukee for it, don't it?
Just forward, yep. Just forward. Even though I hadn't liked Milwaukee, but yeah.
It's so cold.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to the Mind Matters podcast show. We are ready to join you guys live. We're excited. This is a new show we're bringing to you, and it's all about everything mental health and wellness. We have wonderful individuals that are part of this show right here. My name is LeVar Ellis. We also have...
I'm Dr. Rashida Piran, also known as Dr. P.
I am David Manning, and you please call me David Manning.
Absolutely. Hey, this show is designed for us to, bring you guys information that we feel like is missing from within our own community, number one, And so I was asked to join this podcast as a producer / editor or whatever you want to call it because of the Reach podcast show. So I just like to say thank you. I'm honored by you thinking of having me as the show director, so to speak. I'm going to help keep the show flowing and coming from, I guess I would say, a layman's perspective, and asking those questions that you're either scared to ask, that people want to say, but they're not saying it, or might just ask some ignorant questions sometimes just to get the conversation going. But like they say, no question is a dumb question, and every question will get an answer to the best of our abilities. But I'd like to open the floor to, again, you guys and let the people know what's your position and what you do and why you're here on the show.
Okay, as LeVar was saying, I've been a psychologist now for over 20 years and have been working with people community even before 20 years. And I am very honored to be here today. This is our very first inaugural show. And I hope that each of you tune in each week because we're going to talk about such, all kind of topics and really want to hone in about breaking that stigma of mental health. And the reason why I asked LeVar to be a part of this show is I was on his actual show on the Reach podcast, and I thought our chemistry was really good. And I said, you know what? I get shy, I get crazy sometimes, and I get nervous. But he's been doing this for a while, so I felt like he could help me and make sure that I am conveying what I want to convey to everybody. And I asked this man to my right, Mr. David, we work together, and he's so cool and laid back, and I thought he would bring a different perspective. He'll bring him from the millennials, and he's new in the field. He's working on his PhD, so I thought he would be a good asset. So we can have male and female perspective as well as my experience. He's new in the field, and then the layman who deals with what most people watching are dealing with, how you feel about mental health. So I think together, the three of us make a good team, and I hope that you tune in each week as we talk about all kind of things related to psychology, mental health, and wellness.
And we're going to come to y'all every week, but, I got to keep the show right now. You didn't give us none of your background. We know what you do, but go ahead, toot your horn a little bit. Let us know why should people be listening to you? Okay. What kind of experience you got?
I mean, like I said, I've been doing this for 20 years. I'll tell you a little bit about my experience. Shout out to the Rattlers, fam, you Rattlers. If you're out there, anybody, got a shout out to the HBCU that made me proud to be a Black woman and gave me the strength to even pursue a PhD. Without them, I don't think I would have this doctorate. So I definitely want to shout out Florida A&M. Got my graduate degree from University of Maryland, Go Terrapins. For those who like University of Maryland, I still have mixed feelings about them, but that's okay. But I wouldn't got my PhD without them, so hey, we'll take it from there. I have worked with so many people. Like from the youngest patient I worked with was 3, the oldest 96. So I pretty much have worked with every age group. I've worked in the prison system, I've worked in the school system, I've worked in nursing homes, I've worked in hospitals, I've worked outpatient, I've worked in substance abuse. So I say all that to say, and I also taught at Southern University in Baton Rouge, so go Jaguars, So I have a plethora of experience in dealing in psychology in different areas, and so as we go through each week. I'm here to, offer what advice I can give you. Of course, I'm not perfect. I don't know everything. That's why I'm glad to have David here, who's going to speak from, what's more current, what's new. And I'm speaking from my experience of working with so many different populations. So, hey, that's it for now. But you'll hear more about what I do and what I have done as we go along.
Absolutely. My man, David?
Well, if she don't know everything, I know a little bit less than that. maybe a lot of it less than that.
A lot of it less than that.
I'm a licensed professional counselor. Have been since around 2015-16. Like Dr. P said, I'm currently working on my PhD in clinical psych, concentration in forensic psychology. Some of the experience that I desire to get is the experience working with populations in prison and working with people who are being discharged or released from prison as well. Something about that transition in and transition out that is very interesting to me. Currently, I hold a few positions.
Yes, tell those that you hold. Okay.
He said a few,
because he does.
Director of admissions at a hospital. I teach a couple courses at Houston Community College. I have a nonprofit, Fish and Lessons Inc., where we advocate, educate, and mentor kids in disenfranchised communities. I also assist my friend with her nonprofit, Four Girls Inc. I also try to, and this is an effort because I take my personal time very serious. I also try to make sure that I, kind of invest in self, whether that's reading, whether that's meditating, whether that's praying. I just try to make sure that if I allocate so many hours a day toward other jobs and people and other, investments and institutions, that I kind of still give myself, replenish myself, because it is impossible to pour from an empty cup. And the essence of what we are trying to do here is to provide a space where Black people can talk about mental health in the context of a Black experience. Generally, when you hear about mental health, it has elements of what we deal with, but it does not encompass our entire situation. For instance, I'm talking to a friend the other day about how if you ride through the hood on probably a Friday or Saturday, you may see people playing dominoes with the garage up, smoking, and they getting beer out of a cooler. Now, to a lot of people, this is what these people want to do. This is how these people see life. This is how they celebrate. But for those of us who are there, we understand that the week was long, and this is how they cope. Like, this is what depression looks like in some communities. Now, if you were not of this community, you would miss it, because according to the DSM, depression looks like isolation. Depression looks like social withdrawal. Depression looks like a certain insomnia. You wouldn't see it in these people. So what we are trying to do is appreciate psychology, but from the context of our real lived experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Which
you want to add something?
Yes, excellent segue to the actual title of our show when we talk about, how do we decide to come with The Mind Matters. And first of all, we said DA instead of THE for a reason. Traditionally, African American community, especially from Louisiana or Louisianians, we have trouble pronouncing TH. We pronounce it with a the sound, with a D sound instead of a TH. And it actually comes from all the dialects in West Africa, that as we traveled to the United States through the slave trade, we picked up different languages from, Spanish to French. And so with us trying to figure out how to learn how to speak English, some of that got lost in the translation. And so some of our pronunciations are different. And so we wanted to keep the title DA, like, if you're from New Orleans, you hear, who that and them saints and all of that, because it's all about, this is how we pronounce the D instead of the TH, and what that means for us about the culture and for the culture is that we're trying to say, look, this is how we relate. It is the mind matters, because the mind is so important. How we think, how we perceive, how we just go throughout this life is about the mind. And so we came up with this title, The Mind Matters, because I want people, as you're watching this show each week, to be very cognizant of what you're thinking, what you're feeling, because that impacts your behavior.
Absolutely.
And let me also say this to that. I'm not gonna get us off that.
No,
but it just
we're gonna have a let people know this is a show where we're gonna be interrupting each other. We're gonna be going back and forth, This is gonna be good dialogue, man. So go ahead.
Because I remember going to Antigua, and they spoke a version of English that was very difficult for me to understand. And I remember feeling like, why they don't change it? And then I remember going to Jamaica and feeling the same way. Why they don't change it? Why they don't talk right? And that's because of my Americanism. Like I was born and raised in a culture that they made us feel bad for Ebonics, so we shunned it. And then to be around people that look like me and take pride in accepting an English language, which they didn't want, and then making that English language their own. I begin to see them different. I begin to take more pride in what they was doing and feeling kind of bad for the people that look like me in America, who, when we get around other people that don't look like us, we supposed to talk a certain way. We're supposed to present a certain way. We're not supposed to take what they force us to have and then cultivate it and make our own. Like my original language is not English. Like we speak what our master spoke. We speak what our captive spoke. So we kind of made the best out of a situation, but I think they made it better, at least linguistically, when you can appreciate that. No, if you're going to give us this language, okay, we're going to accept it. It's here now, but we won't do it that way. We're going to do it this way. We're going to add our flavor to it. We're going to add our tongue to it, and we won't be shamed about it. We won't speak a different way. It's part of the arrogancy of American, almost when we tell Mexicans to learn English, and half of America used to be Mexico. It's part of the arrogance that we have, that people should get like us.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Let me say this really quick for everybody that's watching. What's up to IG? What's up to everybody on Facebook? And for our YouTubers, the page will not go live for the first 24 hours. But we will upload this video at the end of the night. So you can go back and catch the video on IG, but moving forward from week to week, it'll be going simultaneously streaming live on YouTube as well. So it's at The Mind Matters on IG, and also look up our Facebook page. We have a Facebook group. And for anybody who's on here commenting, again, by this being our first show, is certain things that it's not allowing us to do as far as the interacting. But I'm going to keep an eye on the screen. This is something that I'm having fun with. I'm able to be the screen man, and read the comments. So if y'all got comments, I'm going to interrupt them. I'm like, look, this is what this person is saying. But this is definitely an interactive show. And we want you guys to make comments. If you have a question based off something that's just in your mind as it relates to us trying to normalize psychology and normalize therapy and all these different things, put it in the comment. We'll try to talk about it. We have an email. And matter of fact, let me just go ahead and put all of our stuff up right now. So that way you guys can go and follow, you guys can be in touch, and you'll understand how to reach us and get in contact with us, because we definitely want to get those comments and get everything, whether it's in the email, whether you DM us, or whether you send us a message on Facebook. We're wide open to these things. I'll guarantee you it won't be me giving you a professional answers. It'll be these two individuals. But I'll make sure that I keep up with the information, make sure they saw it. We all have access to it. So we'll definitely be as in touch as we can possibly be. We will be streaming this from week to week. But also, we want to give a big shout out to, I think it's only appropriate to highlight our show sponsors right now. So if you're someone who is already excited about the things we're looking to talk about, and you want to get connected with us, you want to help us push this show forward, become a show sponsor. And we definitely want to give a big shout out to our first official show sponsor, which is On-Site Counseling. But I'll let you talk more about them being your friend.
Yes. On-Site Counseling, I definitely give a shout out to Troy Morsaw and his group, On-Site Counseling, because they took a chance on us and said, hey, I believe in y'all. I want to see this show, be successful. So this group is our very first show sponsor, and they specialize in institutional-based counseling. So although it's not outpatient like we're used to, they go into the schools, they go into nursing homes, they go into group homes. They basically provide therapy for people where they are. So I want to definitely give a shout out and thank them for giving us a chance and taking a chance on us. So do you want to give the address?
They're scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Their phone number is there. So all the information, big salute to our show sponsors. And if you'd like to join in as a sponsor or a donor, whatever the case may be, again, follow us. get connected with this show, man, and just interact. That's what it's all about. We want the interaction, we want the questions, and we want you guys, most importantly, to be blessed by the information that these two professionals are giving, right? Yeah. And also just remember that we're gonna do quotes from week to week, right? Yeah. And so one of the main quotes that we go ahead and introduce it right now, and then we'll probably end the show with it, is something by Frederick Douglass. And his quote goes that it's much easier to raise up a child than it is to repair a broken man, and when you think about that, it just goes hand in hand with trying to teach old dogs new tricks, and but if you just basically cultivate something from the very beginning, and shape it and mold it and train up a child in the way they should go, it's much easier to do that than trying to do things in the reverse. And it just stuck with me, and so we're going to be sharing more of those quotes from week to week, but that's one of the main ones that sticks in our mind with this The Mind Matters podcast show. And our tagline: check DM, right? Everybody's checking their DMs and checking their messages, but ours stands for check the mind. Yeah, go on, put your shirts up. Check the mind. That's what it's all about. And big shouts out to Coach Brown, man, for creating our shirts. But y'all go ahead. I mean, what do you want to cover next?
Yeah. Going back to the whole topic, I want to talk a little bit, and of course, if you're comfortable, to kind of say why this particular day is important for you and why we decided to start it on this day. Yeah,
absolutely. So for those of you who know me, if you've been following me, yesterday I lost, we sent a close friend of mine, day one partner, as we say, childhood friend. So RIP to Mr. DC, Ali Dotton. We sent him home, had a wonderful, wonderful home going yesterday. And he passed away due to throat cancer. And, with his situation, it definitely relates to mind matters and just knowing him and his life and some of the things he went through. But most importantly, just wanting to be in the shell when you're going through stuff. That's a mental thing, and so we got to get away from that. We got to be able to open up. And he accepted Christ. I was glad to hear that when we went to his church, his home church. Found out he accepted Christ, acknowledged Christ, and all of that. That's really good. But just thinking about a close friend of mine, me being in the mindset of like, oh man, I ain't talked to him in a while. He'll show back up. He'll surface. It's kind of where my mindset was, because that's what he always did. And there's plenty of people that know who I'm talking about, and y'all have your own stories. But definitely, you can probably attest to the fact that he will disappear. He'll go away, and that could be his coping mechanism, just need some space, that could be a thing. But to go through something as serious as cancer and only a select amount of people know what you're dealing with, in my mind, I think that could be much, much, much different, because, and shout out to everybody that's going through and fighting and dealing with cancer, and you're a survivor. Shout out to my aunt who passed away of cancer several years ago. And the point that I'm making is that your attitude when it comes to cancer is I don't know statistics, but 95% is the number that I give it. Your attitude about it, being a person afflicted with cancer, your attitude about the cancer and your mindset is going to help you live a lot longer than anything else. Because if you're positive about it, if you're checking your mind and you're dealing with it, you can live a lot longer. The doctors gave her 3 months; she lived 7 years, if not even more. And I mean, of course, it gets to a point where you just can't fight it no more, but it's all about the attitude and the mindset. But most importantly, I'll let you talk about this whole thing was Dr. P's idea, right? And she already told you why she came to me and this and that, and we've been planning and going back and forth and trying to get all of our schedules on the same page. And it wasn't until everything was set and I'm sitting at home and I'm doing a little research, and I keep my grandmother's obituary right on my table. And I was looking at it, and I was like, November 4th. Of course I know the date, but I wasn't even thinking about it at the time. And I called Dr. P. I said, man, we are starting this show on my grandmother's 1-year anniversary of passing away. And so today marks 1 year that we've lost the matriarch of my family. And I mean, it's just, for me, I've been thinking about it all day, and I'm glad I'm able to keep myself together right now, because I've just been staying away from people. Like I'm talking about my boy, right? We tend to do that. And so that's why it meant so much to me. I didn't do my show this morning because it was too early in the morning. Basically, that's what it was. I needed time to get my mind right, get myself together So I decided to take off. So I apologize for anybody that was looking for the Reach podcast show this morning. That's the reason why. Now you know. Spread the word. We'll be back next week. And this show will be back next week too. But that's the significance of this show to me, is that we are able to, and I'm able to pay homage to my grandmother, because she was somebody that was always positive, no matter what she was going through. She had moments when she gets scared about certain things, but her mind was made up. If she wasn't going to do it, she just wasn't going to do it, you know. But she was always positive. And, you know, I just think that this show is huge in regards to so many different levels of mental health and wellness. So, you know, big shouts out to my grandma, man. Shouts out to all my family. I know we all are dealing with her loss in so many different ways and on so many different levels. Mama, I see you. She's watching, always watching. I love you. I'm going to definitely call and check in back with you after the show is over. But yeah, you know, big shouts out to Mama Octavia, you know, grandma.
Okay. And the reason why you know, when we talked about this, and I want to give, you know, definitely LeVar props, and I also want to kind of talk a little bit about the topic of today, which is resilience. For him to come here today after, you know, having to deal with 2 losses or remembrance of a loss and then a loss yesterday takes a lot of strength. And resilience, as most of us would say, is your ability to get through it, your ability to keep going even when it's hard. The technical definition is the ability to withstand or recover quickly from different conditions or difficult conditions. And what I would say about us as a community is that we are very resilient. We go through a lot, we've been through a lot, we continue to go through a lot, and we keep going. But the problem with that is that if we don't have an outlet to express all the pain that we experience, it beats us down. This is why we die sooner. This is why physical health conditions, going back to what you said about cancer, it's your attitude, your mindset. But if you are, you know, again, we're very resilient, we're strong, we're known as being, you know, strong. That's why, quote unquote, we made the better slaves, because we were strong. You know what I mean? So, and generation, we carry this burden of always having to keep our problems to ourselves, not want to share. This is about, you know, isolating yourself. I mean, even I do it. I'm a psychologist, and there's still times I'm going through something, I'll just isolate myself. And people are like, well, you can reach out to me, you can talk to me, because it's such the norm. Yeah. So I'm definitely hopeful with this show that, as you know, the more we go along, the more we talk, and that people are listening, participating, that we all become more open to talk about our issues, our problems openly, to say, this is what I'm going through, because it's only going to make our resilience even stronger and better. And before we kind of go on a little bit, I want to kind of really illustrate to you, when I talk about resilience, what that means. And so the 2 gentlemen on my right and left, I'm giving them both pieces of paper, and you can do this at home if you want to, or just mentally do it. And what I want you, first, I want you to put your name big on this piece of paper.
My name big?
Yeah, write your name big. Okay. Yes. Yes.
And before we get too far off topic too, I also wanted to state that this show is definitely for our people and about our people. Like, I wanted us to talk about that and make sure no prejudice to anything, but we want to bless our people.
Exactly.
That's what it's all about. Exactly. We were intentional about this. We've had several meetings to figure out, should we do this? Shouldn't we do this? You know, what should we say? What should we not say? And we're going to just say what it is. Point blank, period.
Yes, that's perfect. Say what it is. Say conclusion. Exactly. So this is where David will come in with those comments, so, you know, these little slick, witty comments. But anyway, so everyone, if you have a piece of paper, this is your name. I want to kind of show when we talk about resilience. And of course, the 2 gentlemen, they can decide how open they want to be, because I'm just going to throw some situations out there. And if you have experienced that, I want you to kind of fold your paper a little bit in the corner. Just keep folding it. Okay? So, first of all, so this is you.
Like, keep folding it up?
Well, just like little crinkles here and there, just like here.
On each side, okay.
However you want to fold it, but it's going to be a little fold. Every time I say something, it kind of relates to you.
Okay. Oh, okay. We do it when we say something. Got you.
Yeah, so if you're watching it.
You're getting therapy right now, man. You want to pay for it.
Of course. Always, like, this is what it's all about. I want people to be cognizant of what they're thinking at all times. Because when you are, you're a healthier, resilient person. Okay. So, if you grew up without a father, if they grew up without a father, fold if it relates to you. If you grew up without a mother, if you grew up with difficult relationship with your parents, even if they're good now, but growing up it was not, it was difficult. If you grew up without much money, if you had poor grades while in school, if you were shy and didn't have friends, if you were teased or bullied.
Yeah, they said I had a big head. I grew into it. Just let all y'all know. I'm proud of my big head. It's so complicated.
Yes, you got used to it. Comfortable with it now. Got you. Okay. If you dealt with drugs, like if you struggle with drug addiction.
Ourselves?
Yourself.
No.
Or if you know someone who struggled with drug addiction. Losing somebody close to you.
Man,
losing a job. Wanted to go to school and didn't work out for you. Ever had a broken heart?
Origami.
If you wanted a baby, couldn't have a baby.
Would that equal losing a baby or no?
It can be.
If you lost a baby.
If you lost a baby, yes. I mean, feel free. There's certain things you're thinking about that people have experienced do it. If parents got divorced, parents got remarried. You don't like the stepmom or stepdad. Didn't like the way that even though you got along with your parents, maybe there's something about your mom or dad that you didn't like, that bothered you, that affected you. Had friends that betrayed you.
Everybody ain't your partner.
Wanted a house and couldn't get it.
Oh, I'm gonna throw this paper. Oh man, Lord.
Yes. Just ever woke up feeling really overwhelmed and can't really explain it. Woke up feeling sad with headaches and can't really explain why you're feeling this way. Had anybody talk about you or make you feel bad about who you are?
Somebody say my paper getting small. You ain't by yourself, okay? You ain't by yourself.
Okay.
I was trying to fold small.
Okay, so we can come up with. There's so many topics I'm sure people I think about. Ever been diagnosed with cancer? Ever fought cancer? Knew someone who had cancer, a loved one or someone you cared about who had cancer, or any disease. Dealt with depression. You've honestly dealt with it, or bipolar, or ADHD, or anything that people talk about. Okay. Now, I'm just giving out different things. Now, I want you to unfold the paper. Unfold. All right. Now, this paper as an example of doing things right. Okay, now we all saw, this is how I look at, this is how I try to illustrate to people how we are affected by everyday life. Okay, this is how we all start in this world. As babies, this is us. Just clean, no wrinkles.
Yeah. No crinkles in there.
No crinkles. This is how we start off as babies. But through life experiences, this is how we become. And so imagine when you're dealing with each other, we're all dealing with this. As you're trying to interact, talk to someone, you're not dealing with Dr. P, you're dealing with this.
That's good. Wow.
And so when you start to, this is again why the mind matters. When you really think about everything, every experience you had that made you who you are today, and you wonder why sometimes I have trouble getting along with people, or I wonder why I have conflict, or I wonder why it's not easy for me to develop long-term relationships, or tell people about my issues, because it's not just you, this is you.
Wow.
And the more that you're aware of what is causing the drama in your life or causing the discomfort in your life, the more you're aware of it, becomes easier to heal. And so as we go throughout these weeks, or however long, I hope this show lasts forever.
Wait, hold on.
Wait.
Pick some words.
Okay.
This show will last.
It will last. It will last.
As long as we want it to.
There
we go.
As long as we want it, as long as we know there's a need, which will always be a need.
Yeah.
But I really want you to look at this is who you are. And again, you may not, I forgot this main one. I forgot about abuse. If you were ever sexually, verbally, or I mean, that's like this for a lot of people. That's still their whole life. Like, it doesn't go away when you were ever abused or raped or assaulted. Anyway.
Or I like to throw this out. If you were the culprit, think about that, because you have to own it.
Yes.
Right? You have to own it and one, forgive yourself. And anyway, that's on the opposite of all of that.
Yes, and that's good that you say that, because as a therapist, I have worked with people who have been abusers, and to listen to their stories and why they did what they did. At the end of the day, again, hurt people, and we all start off like this. Mm-hmm. And there's something along the way, some different things, different experiences made us this. And of course, some people are more crinkled than others. Mm-hmm. And when you meet them, you don't know what you're dealing with.
Right.
You meet them as, hey, oh, I think she's cute. Oh, I think he's nice looking. And then the more you get to know them, you're like, wait a minute, what's going on? And sometimes they're not even aware of how they're coming across. They're not even aware of how they're approaching people. And so what I hope is that as we learn more about ourselves, it makes us better people, it makes us get along better with other people, and it continues on and on. Because one thing I can say about this African American community, we are some resilient people, but we're also very angry. We're also very angry.
Which is a secondary emotion. Mm-hmm. It points to the fact that something else was going on with us. We were anxious, we were sad, we were depressed. Something happened first that we failed to process properly, and thus anger ensued. When you was talking, I was actually thinking about Resma Menica, a black dude, wrote that book, My Grandmother's Hands, by him from Minnesota. He's a therapist, and one of the things he talked about black people is like when you decontextualize us, you make it seem like the way we engage is culture, domestic abuse, absentee fathers, drinking, drugs, and alcohol. When you look at us in such an isolated period of time, when you look at the 2021 person without appreciation from whence he came, without an appreciation from his context, you make it look like that's just how black people are. That's just what they do. We need context. This I love this exercise because this gives context. Like, I am not just a drug user. I am not just a victim. I am not just an abuser. I'm not just angry. Like my anger came from a place. Like if you can appreciate my origin, if you can appreciate the genesis of my emotion, if I can first, then I have more insight into it. But if another person can, then we can probably make good ground amongst each other.
Yeah. And something that I'm thinking about too is, we talk about meeting people's representative, right? Mm-hmm. You meet a person, and even though they're this, they come across like this. Mm-hmm. And so the whole time you trying to get into it with them, you don't really know what they are, and you start seeing certain things, right? And then before you know it, you're like, oh man, now in my mind, I think about how that messes you up. Yeah. But if we could pause and recognize that at some point they were like this, and then have the compassion and the empathy and the grace to understand that they ain't just like that because they want to be. They're like this for a reason. So that's something over these past couple of years I've literally, and not all the time, because I mean that's something else that's in us. We just, I hate to say we normal because it's not normal. we're human, I guess is what I'll say, and I try to look at everybody like this, and they're like this. So we just gotta, again, this is another reason for the show. We just gotta keep thriving to be within our own minds and try to operate from a healthy mindset in all the things that we deal with. And you made a statement. You said you want people to always be thinking about what they do, which goes in line with my nonprofit. It's all about critical thinking, and understanding that on the chessboard, this is why you didn't get there, or this is how you got there, or these are the techniques you can use to get to that other side of the board and capture it. But anyway, that was my thought.
But that's the whole point of this whole show, is that we're going to talk about so much. We have a lot to talk about. We have plenty of time to talk about. It's the best part, because when I used to teach, I always feel like, okay, I only got a limited amount of time to get information out. But to know, that's the good thing about a podcast. We can do it as long as we desire and get the message out. And like I said, we'll talk about different things. But I definitely want people to remember this exercise, because again, the people, and I like the way that you illustrated this, because that is what usually happens. People, when you first meet people, this is what you're seeing, but they're all of this. And sometimes you're not even aware of it. And that's
Right.
what happens in therapy. That's my job, is to help pull that out, because I'm trying to figure out why are you doing things that you do.
Right.
And I think sometimes if you're my friend or family, sometimes it's hard for them because I'm always thinking of the other, and they're like, oh, Lord, here she go. Here she go. Why can't I just be mad at that person?
Right.
I'm like, because something led them to be there. Something happened to them for them to make the kind of decisions that they made. Which is why it's hard for me to hold grudges, why it's hard to, because I work with people who killed people before, and I understood their story. I work with people who sexually abuse people, and I understood their story. So when you deal with, quote unquote, the worst of society, and you can still understand why they made that decision, even though it hurt and caused harm, in someone's life, if you could still find the sympathy, the grace of what you're saying, then it's about how can we as a people, basically, because for me, I want to end all this community violence. A lot of community violence, but that's a whole other. We'll have a whole talk about that.
But no, I feel that, like, how do we move them forward? Like, how do we get them out of that space? I don't want to call it a stagnant space, but we could call it one of where it's unhealthy. So, like, how do
personally, but
no, and it could be stagnant. It could be stagnant. I view change as inevitable. I don't think anything stays the same. I think you get worse or better.
Change is inevitable.
I think if you don't practice today, you'll get a little bit worse tomorrow.
Right.
This is the philosophy I take with everything. I think that today, especially because you just get to say anything. Like, you get to say I'm pro-black and go to an Asian doctor, and a white mechanic, and like you could do anything. It's amazing.
Okay, Miss Melinda, I'm sorry,
Medina.
Kareem Medina.
That's
Yeah,
my sister.
that's it. Okay, what's up, sis? Interesting question. We're gonna get to that. Give us a little minute to get to that one. She hit us with the whopper on the first show.
Oh my God.
So that would be malingering.
We're gonna get to it. For those watching, y'all can get y'all thoughts together. We'll put that on the screen, and we will get with that. And it's interesting. That's a whole subject. But
we got a lot,
I want everybody say what's up to IG real quick, y'all. Say what's up to IG. We don't want to leave them lonely over there.
Sorry, IG.
We want to make sure we engage with all our audiences. So everybody that's watching, you see the screen, you see the question. We're definitely going to come back to that shortly. Or do y'all want to engage that now?
Yeah.
Okay, so
David,
how can we find a balance with meeting people? Everybody crazy. Sister, we're going to limit you to one question per show. Here's the next question. Very good. How can we find balance with meeting people? Everybody crazy to me. I feel you. Now, no more questions. Hold on. We're going backwards or forwards with these questions. Okay. Let's cover the R. Kelly first. Yes, R. Kelly. So we can get off of that. And the question again, for anybody that's just getting on.
That's amazing that would be the first question. Come on, let's do it.
Let's see.
That's amazing.
Okay.
That's amazing.
All right. So let me know if y'all can see the question on the screen, because some people are saying read the question. I got it up right now. Yeah. So if you have a client like R. Kelly, do you trust their words? Answer the question. So if you have a client like R. Kelly, do you trust their words?
You trust their story. Almost like Dr. P. Ron said, and LeVar alluded to earlier, hurt people hurt people.
Yeah.
Upward of 85% of people who are sexual abusers were sexually abused. Yeah. I don't know, but I believe R. Kelly falls into that majority.
No, he was.
So part of it is to appreciate that his, if we gonna call him a demon, a bad person, whatever we call him, just appreciate that he was a little black boy one time and somebody took advantage of him. Like, that part of his story has to be said. Like, somebody gave him wrinkles, and this is not condoning him wrinkling up everybody else's paper, but somebody gave it to him first. And as the therapist, it's my job to kind of get to the bottom of that. If I can get to the bottom of his hurt, then he will be enlightened on how he has affected other people. Part of his denial is the fact that he's accepted and normalized his own experience.
He has. And someone said, with his sister that are sexually abused. I mean, that is true. Most of the time, it usually is someone who's sexually abused, has been sexually abused themselves, going back to hurt people hurt. And yes, I have had clients that lie. And the thing is, I don't know, because it's just something you can instinctively feel. It's like when someone's lying to you, you can kind of feel it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've been played before by some of my clients, and I started, and you like believing, and you say, also, you start somebody like, wait. don't make sense though. But
I almost accidentally sent his daddy to jail.
Wow.
CPS case.
Wow.
I believe
believing in the story.
I believe
yeah. I've done it with a young woman who, you know, I brought her mother, and her mother just kept looking at her the whole time. I was like,
I can't believe you.
are you gonna tell this lady the truth or not? And then I was
Real.
like, oh. But anyway, but yeah, it is. Do you believe it? And I like how David answered it. It is true. If you go by his story of what he said happened to him, which was he was abused, even though he's not really linking it. I don't think he even links the two. He's just saying it happened. And let me just say this. And there's so many topics we don't talk about. But when when older girls mess with boys, it's sexual abuse too. I think because it's a boy, people don't look at it the same. They're like, well, you know, girls messing with the boys. But if it was a girl and an older guy, everyone straight up said it was sexual. It's sexual abuse no matter what it is. If you are at least 3 years older, 3 or 4 years older than the person that you're perpetrating against, and you're under 18, you're sex abuse. So we'll talk about that more and how that affects people. And again, with R. Kelly, that's a very good question.
Yeah.
But it is hard. It is hard when you're dealing with someone. And as a therapist, I want to say this too. I can't work with everybody. I know that about myself. I don't even try. If you sit across from me and I already feel like, I can't be empathetic, because my job is to go to hear you. And if I already know something about you, the way you're carrying yourself, something about you sets me off the wrong way, I know I can't be effective. And there's too many other therapists and psychologists in the world for me to try to do this. And I've been honest with people. I said, like, this is not going to work.
Right.
I told people, like, I'm just being honest with you. There's so many therapists. I don't think I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that goes on with that question, too. If I have an R. Kelly and I'm trying to, reach him, I'm trying to talk, and I'm just like, nah, I can't do it. And I'm okay with saying that. I can't heal everybody. I'm not trying to heal everybody.
Yeah, and I think that kind of leads into her second question. How can you find balance when meeting people? How do you find balance? What would be the clinical and professional answer to that question?
I have a spiritual retort.
Okay, we'll go.
Yeah. I would rely more on discernment.
Mm-hmm.
Discernment, for those of us who agree or disagree, is my loose definition of the ability to know what's for you, based on multi-sensory evidence. And when I say that, I don't mean just taste, touch, sight, smell, hearing. Like I mean something that kind of speaks above your sensory. If the only data I gather is what he or she says to me, I didn't gather enough data.
Right.
Like if the only thing I know is what I can see, I don't know enough. Like I have to pay attention to that thing that speaks louder than what I can hear and see. People are going to be themselves. It's hard for me to judge a robber for robbing. Like I can get mad at them. I'm disappointed, but it's hard for me. You're kind of doing what it is that you do. It's kind of my bad for being in the context, for not appreciating the space, for not reading the room. Like it's kind of my bad. Like there are two ways to solve a problem, internally or externally. And one of the ways that we generally get away with it is just externally. If I got cut from the team, it's coach bad. If me and my girl broke up, she got to get herself together. Like we just
we blame everybody.
We stop and we're done. Now this is not to say that there is no value in allocating appropriate responsibility for things, but this is to say that the only growth is for the problem to be your fault. Like that's the only way you can grow from it. Me and my girl got into it. It's her bad. I'm done thinking about it.
We call that accountability, people.
Me and my girl get into it. It's my bad. It make me self-reflect on, was my tone too loud?
Yeah.
Maybe I didn't pay attention to her emotional capacity. Maybe she wasn't in the space to hear me.
Yeah.
Maybe I didn't pay attention to the room. Maybe it was other things that trumped what I thought was on the level of hierarchy or importance. Like it's not until I take accountability of my portion of whatever this debacle, whatever this issue is, that I can actually make progress in hopefully those other relationships, whether it be work, whether it be sports, whether it be romantic.
Yeah. No, I'm glad you said that, because when we talk about that question about how do you find a balance, it is deeper than just the surface level. You meet someone and you're like, oh, they seem cool, or they seem this. But it's like you said, listening to your gut. If your gut is like, I don't like the way he said that or she said that, it just didn't hit me right. And then I'm not saying you got to cut it off, but that is that discernment of like, do I continue? Do I give this person another chance? But if you go back to the whole notion of that you're dealing with scarred people, because we're all scarred. Look, I didn't even touch upon if you deal with racism, that's a whole nother story. This is why this show is for us and about us, because everything I said, anybody can live with all the different scenarios. Everyone experiences, but you add a layer of racism to it, it just trumps everything. Then add, if you're a woman, of course, sexism that exists in this world. So it really is about finding that right balance for you. And something you said triggered it, but it'll come back. It'll come back to me.
Let me ask this question in the context of discernment with ability to check yourself. Yes. And I'll put that up.
I like that.
Yeah.
A question that, the layman question, right? And this is for both of you guys to answer.
Okay.
What is something, if there was this one thing that you could deliver to your clients, is the proper word, to your clients, outside of it's normal to have counsel, or should be normal, there's nothing wrong with it. Outside of those things, what would be the one message or the one takeaway that you really wish that you could deliver to your clients as it relates to what you guys do for,
like
for
a skill?
Yeah, whatever it may be, just in the realm of being in the office, having a client, because all the sessions are different, obviously, right?
It is, yeah.
But if there's an underlying something, I don't even know what to call it, but if there's just something that you can help them understand, either before they come into the office, after they come in the office, during the office visit, what would be that one thing that you would want the clients to be able to take away from you?
I mean, for me, it's kind of what you said, dealing with accountability, being able to accept insight is the best thing I can say.
Gotcha.
Have insight into the problems that you're having. That is the hardest thing for me, because sometimes I'm talking to some of my clients, I'm like, oh my God.
Have open ears and open heart?
Yes, like
Okay.
be able to really, if you're coming, if you're coming for help, then actually receive the help. Because some people come just to complain, or they come just to say this is all the thing. But I expect if you come into therapy, you're supposed to be a different person when you're me. You're supposed to be, hopefully, a better person, that you're better at, but that comes with insight, being able to connect with the issues you're having with the work that I'm giving. One of the things I say when you sit in my chair is that we are a team effort, we're collaborative. I don't operate from the power differential because I have a PhD and you don't. I don't operate like that. I operate from we are equal. Like, you know yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I have the tools to help pull out your better self. And so if I'm approaching it like that, I'm really expecting it to come from you. I'm expecting the change to come from you, and I'm just giving you some tips and advice that might help you. So for me, it's about insight.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, I kind of agree with that too. I would say if it was a skill that I could give them, I would say to meditate. I think that would be one of the more poignant, powerful skills that I could give a person. And the reason is kind of because of what you said, which is like a more conscious living, what you call insight, like a more I call it living on purpose. I think a lot of things that we do is autopilot. From the way we go to sleep, from the way we drive to work, from the way that we function at work. I think a lot of it is autopilot. I don't think we live deliberately. I don't know if we live consciously. I don't know if we live in the moment. I don't know if we're mindful at all times. And one of the ways that I think that we can improve that level of conscious living is through meditation. We don't slow down enough, almost never, especially Black people. We don't only live under a capitalistic regime, but we deal with racism too. So it's a lot of stuff on our mind. We at church and we thinking about the Cowboy game. We at home. And we
oh my God, that is me.
When we get home from work, cook, make eat.
Oh my God.
We think about the kids. Like, we're never there. Our mind is generally time traveling. Whether we thinking about the past and we sad about it, or we thinking about the future and we get anxious. Like, our mind generally time travels, and with that is attached emotions.
Man,
those emotions generally don't go in our favor. So if we could teach ourselves and train ourselves to slow down, everything cannot be important. Everything.
So look, because the question has popped up, and I was over here struggling with should we do it, blah blah blah. Walk them through the process. But if you don't mind, David, let's meditate for a minute or two. Let's walk them through it. Or if you want to talk about how to do it.
So I'm gonna take you through a process that I do with my clients is breathe in, breathe out. But I want to say this. The objective is to get to 10. No one gets to 10.
10 what? Help.
We're going to count to 10.
Mm-hmm.
The objective is to get to 10. Breathe in 1, breathe in out 1, breathe in 1, 2, breathe in out 1, 2. The objective is to get to 10.
Tell people on IG too.
The objective is to get, and I tell my clients this too, because I don't want to give you a task that you feel is so overwhelming that it defeats you.
Yeah.
Like you talking to a person who's been meditating for 6 years, I'm not good at it today. I'm still not good at it. Like it is one of the more difficult things you can do in life. The objective of meditation is to pay attention to one stimuli for an extended period of time.
Yeah.
So sometimes you go into a mosque or something and they may have a gong. And the people that are meditating are actually following that sound all the way distant into their meditation. Sometimes you go into a jiu-jitsu or some type of a karate studio and they may have a black dot on the wall and everybody is paying attention and staring at that. Like it's only about focus.
Yeah.
What it really gets to is ADHD is almost us picking on some people because it's our problem.
It really is.
It's our problem. We almost picking on some people when we say you got ADHD, you got ADD, because it's a human problem. Sit healthy, non-ADHD adults in the room for 5 minutes and say, don't touch your phone.
Oh,
for
they
5
can't do
minutes.
it. I can't. I'm just being honest. It's hard for me. It's hard.
Like,
yeah, it is.
The ability to focus is something that has been lost because of all of the accepted demands that we have. I gotta go to work. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. And we have no time to just sit down and be present. Like we're never in the room. Like right now, some of us are watching this on Facebook while cooking, while our favorite show on, while we got the radio playing and somebody on the way. Like it's just always a lot. It's always a lot.
All of that.
And because we never take the time to like get into us and slow down, the times that we do, we find to be difficult.
Yeah. So we're gonna give them. So we'll give you 10 that you can get to. We're gonna give you 10 seconds to get it together. So IG, Facebook, you got 10 seconds starting right now, and then David. Some of us work. We all work. No excuses, right?
If you can do this, you can do this. If you can be on Facebook, you can do this.
We understand. We're gonna give y'all 10 seconds to get your mind right. Whatever you need to do, cross your legs, uncross them,
get my mind
and then
right.
Y'all focus on David, and he's gonna walk us through it. So we're gonna just say 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
All right. Everyone close your eyes. Right now, center yourself and focus on your breathing. Pay attention to how the breath goes through your nostrils and feel where it ends. Inhale 1, exhale 2. Focus on the breath only. When you get to 10, you may stop meditating. If your mind goes away from the breath, start over. Make sure you are focusing on the breath and the breath only. You should be able to feel it go through you now, all the way down to your esophagus. And that's it.
Man.
So for those of us, and you can be honest with yourself, for those of us that made it to 10, phenomenal. I don't think anyone did.
Nobody
did. Yeah. For those of us who were around 2 and start thinking, man, what I'm eating when I get home? Totally normal.
Yeah.
That is a total normal process.
The other voice in the room. And
in a bad position up here. We just, unfortunately, we couldn't do it. Yeah.
But the whole point is practice.
It's a practice.
It is.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
A beautiful young lady asked me a question, and I gave her an answer about how do you know you are becoming a good man? How do you know you're becoming like what you should become? The goal is not idealism. The goal is better than yesterday.
That's why my goodness, you're saying that.
The goal is to beat who you were yesterday.
You're your own competition.
That is it. Yeah. If today I did my meditation and I could get to 17 times, tomorrow I'm gonna try to get to 3.
Listen, I think the most important thing in that regimen is you kept telling them, pay attention to the breath. Because we don't want you practicing wrong, right? And what we mean by that, he said, if your mind goes away from the breath, start over. Don't keep going. Don't you thinking about something else, you 3, 4. No. Start over. That's right. I mean,
he's right.
You can't practice wrong because people talk about practice makes perfect. No, perfect practice makes perfect. You practice all day long and be just wrong as 2 left feet, as they say. So you have to have perfect practice. Anyway, that's my takeaway from that. If you can't solely focus on that breath going through, if your kid running the house scare you got to start over. You can't pick up from where you was at. You really have to have perfect practice. Is what I wanted to share.
It's good. But it's exactly on it, because one of the things is this meditation is something that's always been hard for me. But when I have done it and when I've been successful at it, you do feel a sense of peace. I've never felt more relaxed than when I'm able to do a full meditation. It's just like all the worries go away, all the stress goes away. And some of you might have felt a little bit of it just when we were starting. And it centers you. It makes you say, okay, wait, I have peace again. And going back to, one of my mantras has always been a better person. And I'm always searching for peace within. And when you do meditation, it helps bring that peace. It helps centers you. And I do my best not to make decisions when I'm not operating out of peace, because I know that is my best self when I'm operating out of peace. So, again, dealing with the mind, again, is about being cognizant of what's going on in your mind. And so you have to slow it down. You have to center yourself so that you can really be cognizant of what's going on in your mind.
Yeah, I got into this whole breath thing over the last couple of years, and it definitely is amazing. I don't do it as much as I should. We get on our regimens and we get off. It's like going on a diet or workout and you lose track. But again, start over, practice the right way, and you should be good. I don't know what happened over there. IG, if we lost you, we sorry. But yeah, man, just, I think the breath is like people that really practice that, they talk about it being the breath. Because having that is one of the biggest things that you can have, you can take away, or that you can take away from what we're saying, because nobody can take that from you. As long as you can sit and meditate and breathe, and you can always center yourself, man. So that is huge. So before I move on, anybody want to share something on that?
I'm loving how this show is flowing, because we really are it's just whatever comes up, we're doing it. And that's what's most important, because I'm hoping as you're watching that each show you learn something. And you just reminded me again about how wonderful it feels to me when I'm able to meditate, because my mind is literally everywhere. I got different identities. I got different things. That's an everyday thing for me. And even my mother just told me, she said, I'm talking to your mind. And she said, I can tell your mind is racist, because as you're talking, I don't understand nothing you're saying. Because you're saying too much. And I'm like, calm. She's like, calm it down. I'm like, she's right.
Amen, Mama. Amen.
We talked earlier. I was like, wait, hold on.
But it is about definitely centering yourself. It is about giving yourself. That's what I said. That's why I like. This is what I said. David, he's gonna be the cool one of us. He's gonna be the one that's gonna be like, okay, Adam, bring it back down. Bring it back down. And remind us to center ourselves again. This is helpful for me. I want to just say this. I've been doing this 20-some years. Doesn't mean that I don't have moments where I mess up, or I want people to know that. Like this is like what LeVar just said. It's a constant practice. Because sometimes people think I'm a psychologist. Oh, you don't have any problems. Your life is good. I'm like, no.
I need therapy like everybody else.
I do. Like there's things I was, legit. Like there's things.
I'm still black in America.
Exactly. I'm still dealing with all kind of issues, and I'm trying to overcome them, because now I gotta help people. When I'm going through something, I don't feel like helping people some days. Someday I'm like, oh man, I'm depressed, but I gotta help you today.
And it's vicarious trauma. You know how heavy it is to deal with people's heaviest baggage and they put them in your bin, what you do with them?
Exactly.
Like you need somebody to go to too. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah. To help unload.
So just in being mindful of time, we want to go to Dr. P tips lastly. But before we do that, there's always somebody watching. There's always somebody who just came in. Reintroduce you guys ourselves. I'm gonna put your name and stuff up on the screen, and then we'll speak up on our show sponsor, and then we'll go into the Dr. P tips.
Okay.
So David, we'll go with you. I'll go, and then you'll go last. That way you can just go into your tips.
Okay. Again, I'm David Manning. I am part of the Mind Matters podcast. I've enjoyed today. We had a good time. This was fun.
Yeah.
I hope you guys learned something too. Myself, Dr. P. Ron LeVar, we have been prepping. I've never prepped a podcast. We prepped a podcast for like 60 days.
Right.
This is cool. We were serious. I also appreciate that too.
Yeah.
Because
we on schedule. Actually,
time is valuable.
We on schedule.
And these people were serious, and I enjoyed it. I appreciate professionalism. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you learned a lot, and please stay tuned. Follow us.
And tell them what you do again. You know, I know it's repeating, but just for those who just get on.
I do a little therapy here.
Just a little bit.
I work at a hospital. I work at a college. I do some teaching. I do nonprofit work. I mentor. I try to be the glue. I try to fit myself in the gap. I try to be the missing piece. If I can, I will.
Yeah.
If I can't, I'm probably going to try to find a way that we can still go through with it.
Yeah, that's what's up. And I'm LeVar Ellis, aka Mr. Dad Chronicles. Nonprofit work that I do is try to instill and be the bridge between our older generation and our younger generation. That's another thing that's amazing about this podcast. It's like we don't know where this thing gonna go. There's just so many things running through my mind right now. But the biggest thing is that there's always somebody watching you. So if you're an older gentleman, because Dad Chronicles is about dads and being better and all of this, but it's open to young women, our queens and everything. But the idea is that if you're an individual, you can always do better. You can always be better. You can always strive to be better and thrive in life. So as an older person, the idea is that if you're being your best, automatically somebody's looking up to you, right? And that automatically makes them want to do better. And then we have the older generation that might be down on themselves. And so if you have a younger person that's giving back and, wanting the wisdom, because that person still has wisdom, right? Mm-hmm. So if the young person grab wisdom from an individual that may not be up on themselves like they would want to be, that'll help them be a better person. So it's the mentoring that can go both ways. And critical thinking is all about just being mindful of, like you say, always be thinking of the effect that your thoughts can have and your actions can have. And so again, I'm glad Dr. P asked me to be a part of this podcast, man. We're going to have some amazing conversations. And another little inside joke is we're never going to run out of content. That's another thing.
Never.
We're never going to run out of content.
We didn't even talk about what we were going to talk about today. So
yeah. So anyway, Dr. P, we're going to give the floor to you.
Yes. I appreciate both gentlemen for agreeing to even do the show with me when I came up with it. One thing that people who know me is that at heart I'm shy. I'm just like my daughter. When I see her, it reminds me of how I was as a child. And I've over the years kind of forced myself to speak. Even when I taught, I used to get nervous every time I taught because I know I have a voice and I know what I need to say is very important. So I push myself. And so I needed to have these two gentlemen to help make it easier for me to convey my message. And I am loving it so far, and I expect to continue to love it. So I appreciate both of you for agreeing to be a part of this journey that I've always wanted to help the community as a whole. I know I have people sitting in front of me, but now I'm moving to a different stage in my life where I want to help the whole more. I want to help the African American community. I want to help heal. I want to stop community violence. Since I was 20, that's been my mission, to stop all the violence that happens amongst us. And it's because it comes from the hurt, the anger, and hurt people hurt. And we keep hurting each other because we keep getting hurt. So with that said, one of the goals each week is that I will offer what I call Dr. P tips. Whether it's professional, personal, or parenting, I'm going to give you a tip. I want you to use it for the week, and I want you to really try for that week. And you might hear it because, we're doing this every week. You might hear a tip repeat itself because, again, it's about practice. And it's about making sure that you're cognizant of what is going on in your mind. So the tip of this week, and this is what I tell, and I said this before, if you've seen me on live or different things, or, you know, of course, of the last couple of years, I'm going to start with my very first tip, which is what I tell any of my clients who I see, is the very first thing is do something you enjoy every single day. Now, let me preface that, because when I first said to people, the first thing is, well, I don't go out. Well, I don't go to the club. Well, they start saying all these big things. I'm like, no, 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 no. It could be something simple. It could be like your favorite TV show, but I want you to watch it like this is my show. Like I'm enjoying it with my popcorn, my beer, whatever. I'm enjoying my show. Or it could be a song. Just last night, I was sitting there thinking deep, and I was getting kind of down, and I put on, what song was that I put on? And I just started dancing. I started dancing with my niece. So we like literally twerking in the middle of the kitchen, just having a good time, and it just lifted my spirit, and it just changed my whole mood. It was Beyonce. But I thought about it. It was Black Parade. Yes, Black Parade and then Formation, because it makes you savage and all of that. So I said, you know, it is about doing things every single day, even if it's just 5 minutes. I encourage you to do something, reading, walking, talking to friends, or if you're spending time with your child, you make a special effort. I've done that with my daughter and be like, hey, let's go race cars. And that it could be on a Wednesday afternoon after school, and she's like, we're about to go home, right? I'm like, no, we're gonna go here. Because I'm changing the mood. I'm changing the whole process. I want her to just always be as happy as she can be. And sometimes it is about changing the environment. So I want people to really hone in what I'm saying. Now, I will say this. I had one patient who told me, it was funny. I told him to do something he enjoy every day. So the next time I saw him a week later, he came to my office and said, Doc, I did what you said. He was like, but I'm depressed. I'm like, what did you do? He said, I went shopping. And I was like, he was like, the problem is, I love to shop. Yes, he shopped too much, so he was broke now. So he was upset with himself, and he's like, I went. And I said, well, let me just ask you this. Why you were shopping? Did you enjoy it? He was like, well, I did. I said, okay, we're going to focus on that part. Yeah, but now, in moderation next time, like, I want you to do something that you can afford. You know, it's like, there's so many other things you can do besides shop if you're like, I really don't have the money to shop. And so it really is about finding those little moments and really enjoying it. So tip of the week, do something you enjoy every single day, even if it's just 5 minutes.
Absolutely. And I'm going to pick on Dr. P at this point. Y'all make that announcement again. Talk about it. You're promoting yourself at this point now.
Okay, one of the things that I do, this is like my whole different identity, is I love to write. I love to write romance, and I write spicy romance under a different name, just Ty Love. And you
say it to everybody. You can say it now.
I'm saying it. I say Ty Love. That's my name, but
it's Ty Love.
It's Ty Love, and so that is my escape. It used to be reading, but now it's writing. So people who know me don't have. Just I keep my laptop with me at all times because I have an idea, I write it. So that is what I do. That's one of the things I do. I love to dance. There's a lot of things that I do. I'm actually. One thing I'm good at, and I'm glad that I do, is I do something I enjoy every day. I really do. And it makes a difference. Even when I'm feeling down, I'm like, okay, I got to pull my spirit up. I got to do something to make myself feel better. So writing, I write as Ty Love. And, of course, if you follow me on Rashida P. Ryan, I'm going to start putting more Ty Love, posts on there so you can kind of see what I do.
How many books you have written? 30.
Okay, yeah, it's about 30. But in terms of published, 26. The 27 is coming up next. The 27 is coming up.
Man, that's a lot.
Yeah. Coming up next week, and then I'm gonna start doing self-help books under Dr. P for next year, and some young adult books. So I'm gonna kind of mix it up. Yeah. So yes, thank you. I have the best promoter next to me because he's always like, "What you do now? Tell everybody what you do."
Tell everybody what you do.
Yeah, because I feel the shyness comes over me sometimes. I'm not the best at promoting myself. So definitely appreciate.
Yeah.
And he's gonna always be like, "You need to do it. What you do." And that's
So it's just the one Dr. P tip for the day. Okay.
That's one tip for the day. Okay. That's it.
Absolutely. David, what's your last words, brother?
I enjoyed it. I had a good time.
Yeah.
I really did. I had a good time. I hope y'all learned something, man.
Absolutely.
And just make sure y'all come next week. Because y'all see we up.
And invite people to come.
Invite people, absolutely. Let them know that, mental health talk is something that we need to continue to do, uplift. And I'm going to let you talk about our show sponsors, and then I have a couple things I'll say after that. So
okay, again, we want to thank our show sponsors, On-Site Counseling, which is institutional based on-site counseling. Want to definitely give a shout out for, again, appreciating us and giving us a chance, supporting us. Shout out to Troy Marsaw and his group. on 3007 Caroline Street, not too far from where we are right now. And then to Future, which is headed by Amisha Scott, who's a nurse practitioner who just got her doctorate. I want to shout out.
Congratulations.
Yes, shout out. And we're actually out of that office right now. And Future, and our whole thing is Future is right no matter how old you are.
That's good. That's good. And lastly, everybody that is still with us, this is
I'm sorry, comment.
Yes.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
This is the Mind Matters podcast show, and we want you guys to go and follow us right now on Facebook, and then go to our YouTube channel, like, subscribe, and share. You know how it goes. Tell somebody about it. Next week, we will be streaming live to YouTube, Facebook, and we'll have an Instagram live. Sorry for anybody who was on Instagram. I'm not sure what happened, but it just shut down. But we'll check all those things later. You can see all of our information up on the screen right now. At the Reach Podcast Show, the email is, the Mind Matters Podcast. I did not mean that. The Mind Matters Podcast is what you want to follow. And then also the Mind Matters Podcast @gmail.com. That's where you can direct all of your questions, anything we didn't get to today. And actually, I want to give it a few seconds.
Feel free to practice the meditation and share the exercise that Dr. P did with us with your friends. Feel free to do that. So, because part of what we are also trying to do is plant seeds. We may not see everybody grow from this, but it's not about us. It's really about creating a new standard around mental health in our communities. So it's not enough that us 100 people, 200 people know these things. We have to also disseminate this information to another 200 people of each who were not privy to what's going on. We want to create a higher standard of awareness as it relates to mental health as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because mental health awareness is normal, is how I'll capsulize that.
Yeah.
Mental health awareness is normal, and it should be. It's just what it needs to be. It's just so many different things running through my mind. Yeah. We're gonna cover all these things as we go moving forward with this show. And again, I talked about this with them the first time, on the Reach Podcast Show. I always say, man, every week if I can reach just one person, I've done my job. Yeah. Well, that's not good enough. We want to reach everybody in some capacity that tuned in, that has made a comment, that logged in for 5 minutes, 2 minutes, people on IG. We want to make an impact and an impression on each and every person. And like you say, disseminating this information is the big part. When it comes to advertising, still by far the best advertising is word of mouth. You can't beat it. You cannot beat it. So please share. And, we looking to be just this amazing conversation every week, I guess is what I was saying.
Y'all tune in. Come talk with us next week. Yeah. I've enjoyed the comments too, by the way.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you for the comments. Thank you, everybody who, especially my sister. She's always gonna come up with it. I appreciate that about her. That's who she is. Now she's a promoter too.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That's what I got.
Yes. Yeah, she's a promoter too. And I think my best friend who's on here, she's she's ride after 10 years old, so definitely appreciate you. Thank you.
And if you stuck around, like I said, I know next week we will be streaming live from YouTube. Yeah. But if you're somebody or you know somebody that can only catch us on the YouTube, we will be uploading this video here within a couple hours. I'll say, just give me time, do what I need to do. We will upload this video. It'll already be on YouTube, but next week you'll automatically catch it streaming live. So unless there's anything else, we are going to close out. We enjoyed this premiere launching of the Mind Matters Podcast Show. Next week, we're going to get more into Check the Mind. Look for the next Dr. P tip. Look for more professional information from our professionals right here. And let's give it up for them one time. Clap for yourself. And I've enjoyed, moderating and trying to keep the show in order, man. So again,
thank you for doing that for us.
Do we have a?
We're looking like we can't do all this. We just sit here and smile.
So impressed by what's going on.
Yeah. Do y'all have a quote that you want to leave with? Or you want to just go with the same one?
Go with the same one.
All right, and that is Frederick Douglass. And he says it's easier to raise up a child than to repair a broken man. And the man is not necessarily a man, it's an individual, a human being. It is easier to raise up a child than to repair a broken man. So remember the statements that we made with this paper. Go back and watch the show. If you have questions, again, send them to the email, shoot them to the DM. And if not, we look forward to joining y'all again next week, man. It has been the Mind Matters podcast show, where the mind matters. Check the mind because it matters. Y'all have a good evening.
Bye.